Team.
What's up, guys? My name is Jacob, aka Milk, and last night Blizzard gave us 3 new cards to hype us up for TGT. The cards they revealed, they were all class cards, which makes it easier to theorycraft with since it limits what combinations of cards can be played with what, but all 3 of them are very interesting. They have fairly unique abilities, so I thought I'd give you all my initial impression of how these cards might be used during the next expansion. So I'll start with the one that I think is going to see the least play, and it's the King's Defender. The Defender is a 3 mana, 3/2 weapon, and when you play it, every taunted minion that you have gives the weapon an additional point of durability. So I guess the best question to start off with would be, is this any good? And personally, I don't think it is. At least not with the current set of cards. The 3/2 weapon, it's effectively just an expensive fiery war axe, but with another point or two of durability, assuming you can activate its effect. The problem is Warrior doesn't really run that many taunts. I know that in the control warrior that I used to ladder, I ran 1 Sludge Belcher, and in the Patron warrior I was using, I ran 1 Dread Corsair. But even if you ran 2, that's not a lot of taunts, and definitely not enough to justify running this card over the Fiery War Axe. You do have to cut a card to make room for this one, and since almost every warrior is running Despite, I don't really think there's a place for the Defender. 5 weapons, in my opinion, is just too many for a warrior class. It's a 1/6 of your deck, and it seems like there isn't a good reason to run this in place of the War Axe. But hey, I mean, maybe they're trying to promote like a new warrior archetype. With the new tank ability, it's the one that gives you 4 armor instead of 2. Warriors could definitely be adopting a more defensive style of play, and if they do, it is possible that they'll include more taunts. That being said, I don't really think this card is going to see much play. The 1 mana sacrifice for the possibility of additional charges just seems like it's a bit too steep. This next card is the one that, of the 3, I am most excited for. The card is called the Sacred Warrior. It's a 4 mana, 3/5 priest class card. The ability is it gains +2 attack anytime a character is healed. It's important to note that like the Light Warden and the Northshire Cleric, healing your opponent's minions still grants you that +2 attack. So for instance, if you were able to combo this card with a Wild Pyromancer and a Circle of Healing, you'd be able to get this card up to an insanely high attack value very easily. This card has me pretty excited because Priest is one of my favorite classes to play, but it's also one of the weakest classes in the game, primarily due to its reliance on card combos. Priest has some of the craziest combos in the game, but because they all require 2 or more cards, it's often thought that Priest is too inconsistent to really be one of the better classes. One of the things that I learned when I got into deck building was that minion heavy decks were generally a lot more consistent than spell heavy decks. For example, Zoo. Zoo only runs Power Overwhelming and Implosion. Zoo is often thought to be the most consistent deck because it always has minions to play, and as a result, it always has a board presence. One of the main problems with Priest is its lack of good minions, particularly good 4-drops. So it's good to see a card like this pop up. I'm really excited about the balancing Blizzard's been doing. I've already seen a huge buff to Shaman with the totem buffs, and hopefully you get more cards like the Sacred Warrior so we can give classes that aren't really competitive a chance to be competitive. I think this card will be played a lot. I don't consider it a must include, not yet, but it definitely will be used, and I hope it spawns a more aggressive Priest, because I think that could be a lot of fun. So this last card is the one that people seem to have had the strongest reaction to. The card was actually leaked before it was announced, and people had been speculating about whether or not it was real, but as of last night we know it is a real card and has a pretty crazy ability. The card is Wilfred Fizzlebang. In WoW, this guy was a summoner. He ended up summoning Lord Jaraxxus, and as an homage to that, you can actually see Lord J behind him in the card art. He's a 6 mana 4/4, but his ability is why people would choose to play him or not. And that ability is every card that you draw from your hero power costs 0 mana. So you play this card on turn 8, tap into Mal'Ganis, and then you can play Mal'Ganis for no additional cost. Which is fucking bananas if you ask me. It's worth noting, only the card you draw from your hero power costs 0. So Chromagus cards, cards you get from Demon Sense, all those are still going to be full price. I think the card is still pretty ridiculous though. It's one of those must-kill minions that gets exponentially worse for your opponent the longer it stays up. I kind of compare it to Emperor Thaurissan in that sense, which if you've seen my videos in the past you might know, I think is one of the more broken cards in the game. I don't think this is as good as Emperor, but it's definitely one that I've spent the most time theory crafting with. The card has a ton of synergy with all the hero power buffs that TGT has been pushing. So for instance, if you have a Kuldara Drake or Garrison Commander down before you play Fizzlebang, you could draw 2 cards, and both of them are going to cost 0 mana. If somehow you mystically get some combination of those cards and Maiden of the Lake, then you could draw 4 cards that all cost 0. I mean, the combos are cool in theory, but I don't think we'll be seeing the 3 card hero power combinations all that often. When it does work though, it's going to be pretty sweet. Alright guys, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment on what you think is the best card of the 3 and how you plan on playing it. Let me know what you thought about my predictions, and as always, have a great day.